One, two, one, two, one, two. Right, good afternoon everybody, how are we all doing? Hopefully you are all doing well. Good afternoon everybody, how are we all doing? Hopefully everyone is well. Sorry about the little bit of silence there. Microphone not quite behaving. Well, I think actually it was me, but I'll blame the microphone. It's just easier, isn't it? So how are we all doing this afternoon? You all okay? As you can see, we're out in the field and we are out drilling some sorghum in our new big fields. So, excuse me. So, yeah, that's what we're doing today. Now, normal rules for the stream apply. If the stream disappears at all for any reason, it will be because my computer has decided yet again to turn itself off. It's an ongoing issue that I'm having, and so, you know, if you are watching and then suddenly it's kind of like everything goes blank, that's what's happened. My computer has decided that no, I've had enough. So I'm getting a kernel parent error 41 come up in Windows log, to which I've kind of narrowed down to it's either the PSU, the motherboard, or the PSU IE cable or something like that. So I have alerted the manufacturers again, because you know it's a brand new PC that quite frankly has spent as much time in my living room as it has in their repair room. So all is not happy with me at the moment. As I say, you buy a top of the range PC and you hope that things are going to work as they should. But well, I'm sure we'll get there in the end. Anyway, enough about that. That's just in case it disappears. So as I say, today we are planting our sorghum, and this is the last field of spring planting that we've got. If you are in the stream, feel free to say hi, or if you have any questions, or although I don't appreciate the questions of Jimmy, why do you bother doing YouTube? I mean, you know, if you want to ask those questions, I will answer them, but it's not good for morale, yeah. So anyway, but yeah, so no, say feel free to say hi, you know, and any questions that you do have, anything that you know, you'd perhaps like to know about farming or whatever, I don't know. I think probably the only two subjects that are completely out of bounds in the live stream are politics and religion, and everything else we'll give it a go. We'll see what happens, but yeah, politics and religion, I'm not, it's too divisive, and no one, well, I say no one, but very few people share my beliefs. So, best we leave it be. So is everyone enjoying the colder weather that's come back? Last week it was balmy, especially here where I live. It was a couple of days it got up to 15 to 16 degrees, and now this week we're back down to, I think it's 4 degrees today. So lovely, isn't it, really? One of the next jobs that we've got coming up on the farm is, pardon me, I do apologise. One of the next jobs that we've got coming up on the farm is we need to get our silos emptied, ready for, excuse me, ready for harvest this year. Because harvest won't be too far away now. The wheat in the field to the left there is nearly ready, and you know, we'll if I can speak, we'll need to be getting on with making sure everything's ready. I'm also considering as well, because we've been buying more land, I'm also considering buying another, at least one more silo, but we'll wait and see how that goes. But I think we'll need it, or probably even two, so as that they keep matching up. 'Cause I don't like odds and ends, so I'll probably buy two. We can afford it. As I've said many times before, the biggest problem with doing a 1950 series on Farming Simulator is, and yes, you could keep editing the money out, I understand that you can keep editing it out, but you grow your crop, and especially on this map as well, it doesn't help because the fields are so big. You know, because the fields are so big, you get really good yields. I mean, you don't even have to, like, with this map in particular, I find, and any big map really, you don't need to worry so much on big fields about fertilising to 100% because the field is big enough to give you the yield anyway. Yes, I know you would increase the yield if you did fertilise, but if it was something that you didn't want to do, you wouldn't be punished as severely as if you was on a map with small fields. So that is sort of like kind of the big issue that I have is, yes, we do manure spread, we do fertilise, but we do still get huge yields, or huge quantities. That's a better way of putting it. Because the fields are so big on this particular map, we get huge quantities of crop. And of course, Farming Simulator is based on the modern day, not on the past. And because it's based on the modern day, you get modern day prices for your crops. Now, they're not realistic, or certainly in terms of the UK for like oilseed rape, wheat, barley, oats, that sort of stuff. They're not realistic prices, but they are still modern day prices. And so therefore, you end up, on a 1950s farm, and I think we've got like 3 million quid or something. It's ridiculous. But what it does mean is that we can keep investing. We can keep growing the farm and growing the business, and in all fairness, these fields are very expensive. I think this field was like over £1 million. I think it was about £1.5 million. So it sort of kind of levels itself out. But most machinery that I need or that I buy or upgrade or whatever, I mean, because it's old, because it's from the 50s, I mean, you're looking at anywhere from about sort of £2,000 to £9,000. Well, if we were buying modern day machinery, again, because the game is based on the prices of modern day machinery, we would, the economy would level itself out, because yes, we would be getting a lot for our crops, but machinery or whatever would be costing a lot also. So therefore, you would you would be balancing that out. I apologise there, I completely lost my train of thought. It's kind of like it came in and then it just like, bye. It's like, I usually do 2 to 3 headlands, and then we just go up and down then. There's no real need to sort of do more, but you need to give yourself enough turning around space. If you don't give yourself enough turning space on the headlands, then you're forever twisting, and it's slow, it's painful doing that. So we'll make sure that we do a big enough headland, and then we won't have to do that. And we will lands it as well, because obviously we're not drilling tram lines. We're not drilling tram lines, so we can lands it quite comfortably. And again, that will help with turning on the end. Yeah. So as I say, sorghum going in here, and that will complete and complement all of the crops that we've got. We've got a field of corn, a field of wheat, 2 fields of soybeans, and this field of sorghum, and then we've got Harry's crops on his farm, which again consists of corn, wheat and sorghum, and there might even be a cotton field down there, I think. I probably should look, but let's have a look. No, I haven't. So I've got corn, soybeans, 2 by the looks of it, and then a wheat field, and then another soybean field there, but that was our field anyway. Oh, we own that field as well, I didn't realise. I bought a field and didn't even realise or didn't remember that I'd bought one. So not only do we own this field, that field, we also own that field as well now, apparently. So yeah, that'll be good. Sometimes it's really hard to see where your next line is. And that's kind of the reason why I haven't cultivated ahead, because when you cultivate ahead of the drill, you can't tell, or I can't tell the difference, because of me 2 cataracts. The seeding texture and the cultivated texture to me look identical. I know they're not, because there was a time when I played this game when I didn't have cataracts. So I know they're not identical, but to me now they look identical. And so I kind of like, as I say, I did contemplate doing it, and funnily enough I was doing it on one of the other fields down yonder, and I was like, I can't tell the bloody difference. I was like, this is going to be a bit awkward. I'm probably going to end up with, like, you know, big chunks of field missing. So I've decided to leave it ploughed, and that way I can see the difference between the ploughing and the drilling, but it's a bit hard to see where the ploughing ends. The end of the ploughing sort of merges into the drilling, so yet again we probably will find ourselves with bits missed, but we'll see what happens. I'm also hoping as well that during the stream I'm not gonna run out of seed, because every seed bag that I had I put into the drill, which was about 4, I think 4 or 5, 4. I'm sure it's 4. So if we do run out of seed, it means we've got to take the Ford N all the way to the store to buy some more seed, drive all the way back, and then hopefully fill the seeder back up with seed. So I'm hoping that we don't, as I say, run out of seed, but we will see. Oops. I I was I was hitting the brake and nothing was happening, and then I looked down at my keyboard. It's like, why are you not working? And it wasn't working because I was hitting the wrong key. Never mind. As I always say, these things went much better in rehearsals. Trying to keep it as straight as I can, but doesn't always doesn't always work out like that, does it? But we will try our best. Good afternoon down on the farm. How are you doing? Hopefully you're well. Thanks for joining me today on my stream for 1950s. I know you're a particular fan of 1950s, so it's good to have you here. If there's anyone else in the stream that would like to say hi, please feel free to do so. Afternoon, Ricky. Hopefully you're okay. Yes, I know. I think my ploughing, if I remember correctly, was fairly straight. But in all fairness, I'm going to go wrong at some point. Afternoon, PA Ploughboy. Hopefully you're well. Just very quickly again for everyone that's in the stream, if my stream disappears rather quickly, it's because my PC has turned itself off, so I'm still having issues with that. Touch wood, so far today it hasn't happened, but now that I've said that, I've jinxed it. So I decided in the end to drill sorghum into this field. I was too late for cotton, so I'd missed the drilling window for that. I've already got a big field of soybeans, and plus I've bought another field that's got soybeans in it too. So I decided that we didn't really need a third soybean field. Excuse me, and so I decided sorghum was a different crop and we could drill it, so why not? If not mistaken, I'm sure sorghum is a variety of wheat. I could be wrong on that. I could have just made myself look a huge brat, but I'm sure that's right. We're not doing too bad for straightness at the moment. We don't look too bad. Ah, the corn family. Thanks, Ploughboy. Yeah, I don't know why I thought it was a variety of wheat, but yeah, thanks for that. I told you I'd get it wrong. Never mind. So, do you guys in the stream at the moment want to hear a joke? I've been working on it. It's a fairly funny one, he says. Seems like we've gone a bit wobbly this end because we've been in a straight line and we've come right into it. Alright, fair enough. Are you ready? So a woman's walking down the high street. And by the way, this joke isn't rude. As far as I can tell, it's not really offensive. I shouldn't get cancelled. But yeah, so this woman's walking down the high street, and she just happens to be going past a pet shop where she sees this absolutely beautiful, stunning parrot. Blues and purples and everything else. All the fantastic colours. So she goes into the pet shop and she says to the pet shop owner, she says, "How much do you want for the parrot in the window?" And the pet shop owner looks at her and he says, "Oh," he said, "honestly, love," he said, "I wouldn't buy that parrot." And she's like, "Why not?" And he said, "Well," he said, "the parrot has spent the last 5 years living at a brothel. And," he said, "its mouth and its language is foul, absolutely foul." And she said, "Yeah, you know, all my kids are grown up. You know," she says, I'm sensible enough to not get too offended or whatever." She said, "How much do you want for it?" He says, "Well," he said, "if you're willing to take it off my hands, because nobody else will have it," he said, "you can give me £10 for it." So she said, "Yeah, I'll give you £10 for it." So she gives him £10 for the parrot and takes it home. She gets it home, puts it on the kitchen counter, takes the cover off the cage. The parrot sort of opens his eyes, looks around and thinks, "This is all right. This is a very nice place. Yeah, look at this, look, nice place. Got a nice lady to look after me. Very nice. I'm going to be happy here." On that, the lady's 2 daughters walk in. The parrot's looking, he's going, "Oh, blimey, look at them 2. He thought, "I might get lucky one night and they might come down to get a drink or some food in their nightwear. Oh, yeah, this is all right. Nice gaff, nice lady to look after me. 2 nice girls to look at when I'm feeling a bit lonely." On that, the woman's husband walks in. The parrot looks at him and goes, "Hello, Keith, what are you doing here?" I'm really hoping everyone got that, because the last 2 people that I've told have looked at me completely blank. Completely blank. And it's like, yeah, so? But I'm glad both of you liked it. Like I said, I've been working on that joke, and as I say, I've told 2 people it, and they've sort of looked at me and gone, "So, what's funny in that then?" And it's like, "Well, Keith, he's been to the brothel," and they're like, "Oh, yeah, that's good." So, I thought I'd try it out on a live audience. Dear. I've got loads more, but we'll save them for another day. Oh dear. I do like a good joke, to be fair. Most likely. It's very true. I'll have to try and remember that next time I tell someone and they don't laugh. Yeah. Well, the weather here has gone completely balmy. Last week, most days were hitting between 15 and 20 degrees, which for March, around where we live, unheard of. Very rarely ever happens. This week, we're back down to 1s, 2s and 3s. It is absolutely freezing out there at the minute. Last week everybody was out spring drilling, and this week everybody's rushing around the crops trying to get their coats on. That's how cold it is. It's completely balmy. It's absolutely nuts. you don't get seasons anymore. I don't know if you guys agree with me. You just do not get seasons anymore. You just get weather. That's all you get. You know, it used to, when I was a kid growing up, you know, you used like December, January, February, probably into March, and occasionally April. It was like it's winter. You get to sort of mid-spring, you should start then to see a bit of a warm up in temperatures. But now it's like I say, last week it was, you know, you were sort of walking around in shorts and t-shirts and you know, sort of it was hot. But this week, bloody freezing again. This week we've had to put the heating back on. Yeah, so it's a bit unusual here, Ploughboys. You know, not normally as dramatic as that. Normally, if it sort of starts to warm up, it usually sort of stays sort of warmed up. But yeah, it's a big old jump. But I say it's certainly halted spring drilling everywhere. There's I had a ride out this morning to have a look, see if I could find some, and couldn't find any. Good afternoon, the Drifter from the house. Hopefully you're well. Thanks for joining us on the stream today. As you can see, we are today out in the field drilling. We're drilling some sorghum. Oh, I'm glad to hear it, mate. Glad to hear it. But yeah, we're out drilling some sorghum today. And whether we get this field done in the stream, I don't know. But in all fairness, it didn't take us that long to plough. I think we ploughed it in virtually a stream, if I remember. So we may get it drilled. I was a little bit late in starting again today because I had two problems. One was I couldn't get my stream to actually latch on to YouTube in order to stream, and the other one was I literally sat down, I sneezed, and it was kind of like I'd literally sprayed blood everywhere. I was like, Jesus, what the hell's happened? Has my head just burst? So we had to abandon the stream start time to seek urgent medical help. Yes, I know that I think I did a short a little while ago of the first time. So the game's been out a year and so many months now, and the other couple of weeks ago, was the first time that a tornado had actually affected my crops. I'd seen it everywhere else on the map and you know, sort of across the map and affecting sort of computer farmers' fields, if you like, but yeah, let's say the other week a tornado took my field of sugar beet, and as I say, I did do a short, so yeah, it's pretty cool. I say it's pretty cool. I don't mind it, but I do kind of understand a lot of reasons why a lot of other people are not so you know, sort of keen on it, but it's a little bit frustrating, although you can turn it off. So when I'm on a British map, I do actually turn it off, because hail and tornado damage isn't really something that happens that much here in the UK. Hail damage sometimes, but not very often. You know, I could probably count on sort of two fingers the amount of times that it's happened. But yeah, that's very true, Ricky. That is absolutely very true. You know, you do. There's one thing in the game, FS25, FS22, you know, sort of whichever, but in the game I wish you could turn off, and that is the wear and the paint damage. And the reason being is, and I've made this point a million times before, so I'm not going to sort of over elaborate on it, but you buy a tractor in the morning. Say if you played a game on realistic time, you buy the tractor in the morning. By the time the end of the day comes, the paint's chipping off it, it needs repairing. It's the same with implements. You know, they already need repairing, and you're sort of thinking, it was brand new this morning. It was like, what happened? It's like, how did I damage it, you know, sort of that quickly in a field of wheat? Or like, you know, if these two were both brand new, like, you know, they'd need repairing by the end of the day. I've found no way of being able to stop it. The only thing I've been able to find that I'm kind of okay with is I found, well, I've got a mod that auto fixes at midnight every night, and that's kind of like the only way round it. It auto fixes and auto paints, but I really do wish you could turn it off, because it's ridiculous. You know, I wouldn't mind if Giants implemented it properly, that after, say, you know, your tractor's done 10 hours, every 10 hours it needed servicing, or, you know, whatever. But, you know, the fact that it needs repairing at the end of every day is, for me, it's just, well, I just hate it. Yeah, so the reason there's not a John Deere crawler on the front of this seeder is because I can't find a 1950s John Deere crawler for the game, for FS22, and this was as close as I could get. I don't actually think this crawler was available in 1950, but right at the very beginning, when I started the series, I kind of sort of put it out there and said to everyone, like, are you happy for me to have it? Because it's, but you know, I'm sort of basing it on, because this save is based on a real farm in America, well, 2 real farms in America. And you've got the dairy, which I can never remember the people's name that own and run that. And then you've got Hank's farm, which is or Harry Hill, who was the original owner of the farm, and then Hank has now taken over, although from what I can gather, Serenity and his son, and I can't remember his son's name, are taking over the business. So this is back in the 1950s when Harry took on the farm, when Hank was just a little kid, or I don't think he'd been born yet. I'm sure he was born in the 60s, if I remember correctly. It was the late 50s, early 60s when he was born. It's been so long since I've looked at my research and notes on that I would have to check all that out again, but that is the reason why there's not a John Deere crawler on the front of this seeder, is just because I couldn't find one, and this was as close as I could get. So yeah. That's right, Ricky. It's like when I first did it, like 2 years ago now, when this series started. I realised it obviously had a bit of a break when I changed my computer, and I just could not get it to work. But thankfully, I managed to sort it out, and touch wood, everything sort of kind of works great. But yeah, when I first started the series, I was a bit worried that people would think that I was trying to sort of gimmick it, or whatever. And one or two people sort of said the same. The farmer with the big collar. But yeah, no, that was genuinely his name. And as I say, I, I've kind of contemplated writing to them and asking if I could go up there and actually film on the real farm. Um, the only reason I haven't is because obviously, I'm on my own, and that's quite a big trip to take on my own when I've never been off this fair isle of the UK. So it's it feels a little bit too daunting to do it, but I would love to do it. I would love to write to them and say, I do a YouTube series. Could I come and just spend a day or 2 days or whatever on the farm, just filming some tasks and showing the farm? Because on this map I have built a sort of replica of their modern day farm. The sheds are the wrong colours, but again, I couldn't find sheds that were the same, so I've gone with the sheds that look most like what they've got, without them being replicated 100%. But yeah, I have already built the farm, because, as I say, my intention is that we start in from 1950 and go all the way through to modern day. Now, it's taken a lot longer than what originally I sort of kind of hoped that it would. But the one thing that I sort of didn't, what can I say? The one thing I didn't appreciate was how much I would start to enjoy just farming with the old machines, and actually how long with the older machines things do take. Now, I do realise that's a bit of a double-edged sword, because if I was on a map where they had smaller fields, it wouldn't take nowhere near as long. However, that doesn't represent the area from the farms that I'm trying to represent. So I had to go, well, I didn't have to, but I felt, to stay true to the series, I had to go on a map that had bigger fields, just so that it felt authentic. And like I say, the dairy farm that I built there, that wasn't how that looked in the 1950s. Some of it is a little bit similar, but like the silos are fairly similar to what they had, but again, I sort of just did a representation of, and not only that as well, but the original farm from the original map that was there. It wasn't very functionable, and I didn't like it, so I just thought, well, we can sort of replicate that a little bit by building our own farm sort of thing, and having it our own style and our own way. So that's why I did the dairy like that. Oop, we're wobbling. Oh dear, Jimmy's gone wrong. Oh dear me. Excuse me. that's quite good, Rick. Yeah, I like that one. I liked it so much it nearly made me choke. You know, the one thing I'm regretting doing this afternoon is forgetting to bring my water with me when before I started the stream. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh dear, that's made me chuckle. I apologise if that's coming across quite loud on the microphone. I'll tell you what, actually, this is not going too badly. I know I'm missing a few bits and pieces, but in general, not too bad. I mean, back in the day, in 1950s, the planters, you know, they were good for their time, but they were a little bit patchy. I was talking to my mate Ray. I don't know, last week I think, because the weather was nice. I went round and sort of see him, and as you know, he's 92 or whatever, and there he is out in the garden hoeing away, and I'm like, Ray, what are you doing? And he goes, oh, I'm keeping busy. So, Ray, you need to be in the house, you need to be chilling. And he's like, no, I need to be busy. He said, I can't sit still like you. He said, I'm not lazy like you. Ray, I'm I'm only teasing. I think we've recovered the situation, Ricky. But yeah, no, that was good. That was. Oh dear, we've reached a hill. We've reached Harry. Come on, son. Come on. The crawler had the same issue with the plough, if you guys can remember back. There we go, we're away again. The one thing I did forget to do with this field, which is naughty, I forgot to manure spread on it, didn't I? So it means we will have to come back and fertilise this field. Whether I do it with a sprayer, or I'm just wondering, I mean, I've never done it. Could you manure spread this field still? Because we've got an absolute load of manure. Yeah, we've got an absolute ton of manure. So I'm just wondering, could I spread manure on top of my crop? And that count as fertiliser and the crop still grow okay? Like I say, I've never done it like that. I've always manured, ploughed and then drilled. So I don't know. But yeah, and then we also need to as well get the grass slurried, and then we also, before harvest comes along, we need to get those silos emptied and the crops in there sold, so that we can so that we've got enough room for this year's harvest, because otherwise we're gonna have nowhere to store it. Quite frankly, I don't know what I thought I was going to say then for a second. It was like my head was like, where are you going with this? And I was like, well, it's a fairly simple explanation. We just need to finish it off now. And my head's going, I don't know where you're going with it, mate. Thanks, Ploughboy. So it does work, so I can do that. Just to help me get rid of a little bit of manure, because like I say, we've got an absolute ton of it. I don't know why I didn't. Well, I suppose it's because I've been out of the series for so long, got out of the rhythm, and you know, just forgot my routine. You know, my routine in the summer after I've harvested is to manure spread, plough, cultivate, and then drill again. I was going to cultivate ahead of the drill in this field, but the biggest problem is that obviously I've got two cataracts, and the cultivating texture and the drilling texture to me look identical. I can't tell it apart, whereas the ploughing texture against the drilling texture, I can tell the difference. So it was kind of a case of I had to I was like, gonna have to leave that ploughed, I'm afraid. It's not quite right, you know, you shouldn't really do that, but gonna have to, otherwise I'll never see where I'm supposed to be. As you can see, we've been doing it fairly straight, but we've got less and less straight as the day's gone on. I'm gonna blame the joke, that's what I'm gonna blame. Yeah, again, we could use slurry Ploughboy. Yeah, we could do that. I've got an absolute ton of that as well. So I'm definitely gonna put that on my grass, because where I live, last week we had a firm not too far from here spreading slurry with the umbilical cords. It's a new thing around here. I'd never ever seen it. I mean, we used to do it on the second farm. We used to spread slurry in the spring on our grass crops, but that was the only farm I'd ever seen it on. Around, like I say, around here it just was never done. But this springtime, as I say, I see a firm not too far from where I live doing it. And then when I'd sort of travelled a few miles further out, there was a few other farms doing it as well. So it's obviously become a very popular, I guess, with all the BGAs and stuff that are around. And you know, and the reason why it is surprising is because most of the farms out here were cattle. Didn't really see them do it that much. But now, you know, we've got no cattle farms around here now. Most of the farmers have either given them up or given up farming altogether. You know, it's a shame, because it's another small chunk of the countryside disappearing, which it kind of feels like, you know, the country wants. Yeah, true, Ploughboy. Yeah, I guess as well. You know, the reason is because of the price of fertilizer. You know, it's astronomical at the moment, and I say our wheat prices are absolutely, well, they're nothing at the moment. I think this week they were about £112 a tonne, which, I mean, you know, when I was working on the farm, you know, you were looking at sort of anywhere from 250 to 300 on a bad year. You know, and as I say, the most I've ever seen is 600. Canola prices around here still not too bad. I think next year canola is going to be a very popular crop, even though we're not allowed to spray the stuff on it now to protect it, and we can't use the neonicotinoids on the seed to protect it when it's coming through the ground. There's a few farms around here that are still growing it, that have always grown it, and they've got some absolute super crops this year. They look really, really good. They're really thick. They're just about starting to come into flower now. I was talking to Derek the other day, and he was saying that they're having to spray growth regulators on them to try and slow them down a little bit, because they're just romping away. They put their first lot of nitrogen on in sort of early mid-March, and within a week it looked like the crop had grown about 4 foot. Honestly, it was incredible how quickly they've grown. And so they are now coming into flower as well, so they're sort of spraying growth regulators on them, trying to slow down the sort of advanced plants, and trying to get the not quite so advanced plants to catch up, so as it makes a bit more of a canopy. But yeah, so it's you know, it's no surprise that they're looking for alternative fertilization methods, given the price of wheat where I live, given the price of fertilizer. You know, you can't do it. So I guess looking at it from that perspective, it's no great surprise that, you know, just running a few tankers backwards and forwards and having this, I don't know whether it's the same sort of values in terms of nitrogen and stuff like that, but farms obviously, you know, consider it well worth doing. Otherwise they wouldn't be doing it. Come on, gal. I really should learn in this field to go across the field, not up and down. Of course, had it been real life, we would have gone across the ploughing, not up and down the roads, because we would literally be planting quite a lot of seed into the rows of the furrows, and you don't really want that. So if you go across, so the drill pushes the soil into the furrow, levels it, and then the drill, the coulters behind, then just, you know, put it into some, you know, nice ground. But yeah, so I sort of did this a bit wrong, really. Never mind. Not to worry. Oh dear. We are going to worry about missing, though. That's not good. That's not good at all. So I've just started building a new farm for a new series that's hopefully coming up. I'm not sure whether, I think kind of long term, my plan going forward is that from now on I'm just going to live stream. I get far more interactions from live streaming and views than what I get just on normal videos. As I've said, you know, sort of a lot of times before, and I'm not, you know, being down on myself or anything, you know, it is what it is, you can't help it. I'm not so great at video editing and stuff like that, so to do it this way, as I've said before, everyone gets to see that I do actually sit and do the work, as, you know, I kind of sort of say, you know, in the episodes that I do, and this gives everyone the opportunity to think, oh, well, actually he does do it. Like I say, the interaction's a lot better, and not only that as well, but if I do it for a few hours every day, you know, it sort of keeps people coming back to the channel and helping it to grow, because I do want it to grow, you know, obviously. I mean, you know, I do YouTube really more for the enjoyment of, like today, you know, we're chatting away and that's really great, and you get to meet people all around the world, well, not meet them, but you get to speak to people all around the world and learn new, you know, new things, and so I do really like that. But yeah, so I've started to, let's say, build a new farm today. I started that yesterday actually, and I'll say I'm not sure yet whether to do live streaming on it, or whether to do it as a series, and do it a little bit like, and it won't be as good, but do it a little bit like the Farmhand and sort of series is like that on YouTube. So there's a bit of a story behind it. I'm not sure yet. On the one hand, I quite like the idea of a story. I quite like the idea of a story-driven series, but on the other hand, I do really like the idea of people interacting and chatting, you know, whilst you know I do the work, or you know, whilst we do the work, and so I'm a little bit, as I say, at the moment, a little bit torn as to kind of where to go with it. Incidentally, I have the chats open on a different screen on my other monitor, and I've noticed that it doesn't update straight away. So if people are saying stuff and I've not responded, it's not because I'm ignoring, it's because it probably hasn't updated, and then what will happen is I'll get like 20 come in at once, or you know, well, not 20, but I'll get like 3 or 4 come in at once. So if I don't respond straight away, that's because it's not updating as quick as what it was a little while ago. So if anyone said something and I haven't sort of commented or responded, that's the reason why I'm not ignoring. So what you're saying is, Ricky, you don't mind the idea of live streaming. The thing with the time lapse is it's kind of like, I do it because obviously, you know, to record a video is essentially the same length pretty much as live streaming. It's pretty much the same length. You know, it's between anywhere from sort of 2.5 to sort of 4 hours you're recording for, and then you have to go back and edit all that and, like, you know, make it into a video. And the thing is, I always want to put all of it in because I think, well, I'm interested. But I've kind of sort of learned over the years that my longer form videos are the ones that don't do very well. So I kind of then sort of thought, well, if people are not interested, it's really hard for me to know what bits people would be interested in to what bits people are not interested in. And I've kind of tried to look for patterns and different things, but it's so hard to thingy. Whereas this, I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, with the videos you get the choice of whether you sit and watch it or not. I mean, you know that, but with sort of, I think people are more accepting when you're sort of in a live stream and they're just watching you do your thing, and you're having a bit of chat, and like you're, you know, sort of say you're playing while I'm on another screen. That's really good, you know, because you can sort of sit and do other, like I watch a YouTuber called Squirrel. He doesn't do farm sim. He sort of does any game that's sort of popular at the time. So just recently he's been doing like Docked and City Skylines, because they had as either a new update or a new DLC thing come out. He does Transport Fever quite a lot. As I say, any game at that particular moment that's popular, he streams on a Saturday and Sunday. Well, when I'm doing the time lapses or recording for the time lapses, I can record while watching him stream, because obviously I don't need to talk, and that's kind of how I do it. So it's yeah, I think live streaming is the way that I want to go. That's very true, Ricky, yeah. Very true. But yeah, so if you're wondering why I stopped and paused, I had to sneeze, but I quickly left the room and then come back again, because I was like, Jesus, I'll deafen everyone if I sneeze next to the microphone. So that's the reason why I stopped, and it all went very quiet for a minute. Yeah, I guess that's true enough again, Ricky. Yeah, like I say, it's just a bit tough to sort of kind of, you know where know what to include, and sort of, you know, what not to you know, sort of put in, and like I say, I mean, I like chatting. I like what you know, a bit like this live chatting, you know, where you can kind of, whereas when you're sort of doing a video, you've got to try and keep things, well, I think, you know, sort of fairly relevant to what you're doing and interesting. I mean, I used to enjoy my chatty videos where I used to talk about like experiences on the farm, and then I got one or two comments and one or two messages from people that just said, like, you know, I don't know, like, why you think we're interested in what you used to get up to, because we're not. You know, we just want to see you play farming sim. And it's kind of like, oh, okay, fair enough, and then it's a bit of I think the problem that I've had for a long time is I've tried to please everybody, and you can't. And I was saying this in sort of a roundabout way to another friend of mine last week, and I said actually what I should do is take the core people that watch me videos, sort of time after time, and carry on doing what I'm doing for them, and for everyone else, you either like it or you don't. It's really tough to kind of get the balance right. I mean, it's like like I said Monday in the stream. This week, in the last sort of 7 days ish, 8 days, I've had, I think it was 7-8 people unsubscribe. Now, I realise that people, sort of subscribe to a video or a time when they were doing it. Perhaps now, their interest no longer is Farming Simulator and they've moved on. I get that, but I can lose them far easier than I can gain them. But, yeah, so it's a bit tricky, So, the racing that I sometimes mention, Ricky, and also as well, when I do go, I do post in the community forum section of the channel, usually a picture of where I am, the track, or whatever. So basically, I follow stock car racing. So there's banger racing and there's stock car racing. They're sort of kind of two in the same thing, really. They're all done on the same tracks, and sometimes the two are done on the same night. But I follow 3 formulas. They're the 2 litre National Saloon stock cars, which is full contact. And I also follow the Brisker F1s and the Brisker F2s, which again is full contact. And it's done sort of on tracks around the UK. Quite a lot of them, unfortunately, now are starting to close down and have houses built on them, which is such a shame. That kind of happened to Coventry a few years ago, but a lot of the spectators and a lot of the sort of fans and drivers and some business people that are interested, like me, in the racing, have kind of got together and said, no, we'll buy it, we'll give you the money that you would have made from the houses, and we want to reopen it for the stock cars. So on the shale tracks that they race, 'cause they race on 2 surfaces, so they race on either tarmac or concrete, or shale, and on a lot of the shale tracks they also run the speedway as well. So it's like a sort of dual purpose thing. But yeah, that's what the racing is. As I say, like, look them up on YouTube. But normally, hopefully this Saturday, I've had a bit of a stomach bug since the weekend, and it's quite hard to shake it off at the moment. But hopefully Saturday I'll be going to Scunthorpe. It's about 3 to 4 hours from where I live. But yeah, hopefully I'll be going to Scunthorpe, and obviously again I'll do I've never been there either as well. That'll be the first time I've ever been there. So that's a new track to the stock cars that I follow. That's another track that they've sort of taken on, and as I say, at a time when the tracks are closing, it's really nice to get new tracks. But yeah, that's the racing that I talk about. It's I sort of don't never really talk about it in great detail, because again, you know, I've always sort of kind of been, you know, perhaps people are not interested, you know, and so therefore, you know, this is a farming channel. They come to see the farming. They don't necessarily want to hear about stock cars, but yeah, it's something I'm very passionate about, and as I say, I've been following it since I was a kid, and now obviously I get the chance to you know, sort of, now that I'm on my own, I get the chance to follow it every weekend. Last weekend I was at Mildenhall, and then Yarmouth on the Sunday. So it's usually every weekend that I'm sort of busy somewhere. No, Ploughboy. As far as I just I just very quickly been looking through the list of tracks that I do go to, and no, I can't find clay. They're all shale or tarmac. It's quite interesting, Ricky, that you used to live near Scunny or Scunthorpe. Um, as I say, I you know, live in Lincolnshire as well, um, but I live sort of, well, funny enough, if I turn left out of my drive, I hit the border of Cambridgeshire, and if I turn right out of my drive, I hit the border of Norfolk. But I live in Lincolnshire, um, so make of that what you will, because it's very weird. Um, the other thing actually that I've thought about doing, and again never really have, because I don't know whether people will be interested or not. Again, mainly because it's a farming channel, but um, I mean, you know, it doesn't have to be predominantly farming, but I do kind of sort of think that's the main reason why most people come here, is sort of going out and about and doing sort of local points of interest, and you know, sort of only doing short videos on them. So like, you know, there'd be no more than say a maximum of 10 minutes, but just sort of pointing things out. But again, sort of, I've never done it because I sort of don't, and it's the same with doing sort of like real life vlogs and stuff, like from the racing and from days out that you know, I have. I say I'm hoping this year to get to the David Brown Museum. Naturally, I will record that, but um, and make that a video anyway. But I could do some vlogs as well while I'm there. But again, so you know, I'd sort of kind of, I don't want to do anything and everything, because then I'm sort of kind of thinking people might get a little bit, you know, sort of fed up with that. But at the same time, there is more to my life than just sitting on my backside playing Farming Simulator every day. Although I do spend a predominantly, you know, many hours, you know, of my time doing this. that is one thing, Ploughboy, that I would really love to go and see. A lot of the stock car boys. So when our season finishes in October, well, it's now early November. They are slowly pushing it further back and back, but so early November, a lot of the stock car boys, so people like Jack France, Tom Harris, they go over to America. They race at the Chili Bowl, and then they do Tom Harris, who is probably the best stock car driver there is at the moment. He races in the Formula Ones. I think he's like 4 years in a row world champion, British, European. I have to admit, one of the big reasons why I do enjoy going racing so much is because him and Ryan Harrison arguably are the two best drivers at it, and them fighting and scrapping it out to try and get victories is honestly, it makes the entrance fee alone worth it, and that's without all the other stuff that goes on in the evening that's sort of part of the night out, if you like. And I'm really lucky as well, because where I live, I've got Kings Lynn that's like 15-20 minutes down the road, Mildenhall's an hour away, Northampton's about an hour and a half away, Skegness is about an hour and 15 minutes away, Yarmouth is 2 hours away, Ipswich is about 2.5 hours away. So I'm sort of bang in the middle of all the tracks. Yes, there are tracks up north and a couple down south as well, to be fair, but again, haven't quite been brave enough to travel to them yet. But that's another thing that I could do. I could literally put my GoPro on the front of the car, or on the dashboard of the car, and do vlogs and record my trip down to Scotland. I mean, it would take me, I think it's about six hours, is it? The Cowden and Beef track from where I live, I think the last time I looked on Google Maps or whatever it was about 6 hours. I mean, I would drive overnight, so we could probably knock 2 hours off that, because hopefully there should be very little traffic. But I'll tell you, the old girl really does struggle with that hill, doesn't she? She really does struggle with that hill. But yeah, so as I say, the F1 boys, they do, half of them, well, not half of them, but several of them go over to the Outlaws in America, and the other half sort of kind of go out to New Zealand and race the are they called the National Super Stocks there or something, or NZ stocks, something like that they're called. So yeah, they sort of keep themselves busy, and they're all private. They're not massive. When you sort of think of the stock cars, they're basically mates that work on it, sort of in their own time. They've all got jobs. It's not professional. They don't get paid to race. They don't really. They do win prize money, but it's not very much. But yeah, so they do have to support themselves. A lot of the F1 boys, they tend to build stock cars, so they'll build like F1s or F2s, national saloon stock cars, stuff like that. They'll build them for other people and then charge. I got the shock of my life. So I was talking to Tom at Northampton last week, and the week before, and I was talking to him, and I said to him, if I was interested in buying a F1, how much would it, how much would one be? And he said, like, do you want one that you can race, or do you want a top spec one? So I said, one I can race. So he said, probably about 40 grand. So I was like, right. I said, what, and you lot smash these up every Saturday? And he was like, he goes, well, we're not really aiming to smash them up, but yes, they do get damaged. He said, but they are very easily repaired as well. You know, he said, like, they all just weld together or bolt together. There's not really that much to them. And I said, if I wanted a top spec one to be able to compete with you, he said, you're looking probably at about 75 to 80 grand for one of them. So I was like, bloody hell. I said, I didn't realise how expensive it was. Like I said, I thought like 30-40 grand would buy me an absolute top of the range F1. He was like, nah, that'll get you a basic one. And I was like, bloody hell. That is a lot of farming simulator live streams and donations, that one. But no, I mean, like I say, I just couldn't believe it. And then you've got, like, you know, sort of steel costs, because obviously once you've bought it, you've then got to be able to maintain it and repair it and all of the other stuff. So then you've got steel cost, tyres, fuel to get to and from you know, to and from the tracks, and then you've got, you know, I dread to think how much it costs them each weekend to race. I know they have sponsors, and I know that a lot of the F1 boys have, like, sort of big sponsors, like Jack France is sponsored by the name's disappeared out of my head, I can't remember now. But they also they have their own professional race teams in the touring cars and stuff like that. There's a couple of drivers that are sponsored by Budweiser, some by M&M's. So they do, you know, the F1 boys do have you know, good sponsors that do help them with the cost of racing. But yeah, you know, Lord knows how much it actually costs them a year. And as I say, for me, fantastic entertainment. It's a really good way on a Saturday to kind of forget most things that you know, go on in terms of my heart and stuff, like through the week. To go at the weekend, you just sort of stand there, lose yourself in the racing, you know, see some crashes, chat to nice people. I mean, I'm not very outward in terms of chatting to people, but, you know, most weekends that I'm there, someone will chat or say something, or, you know, pass a comment, or, you know, whatever, and it just makes part of the night. And for someone like myself that is sort of, I'm okay talking like this doesn't bother me, but if talking to people in the street or at a venue, or, you know, sort of out and about, like I remember last year being at Wheating, which was the steam rally that I went to, which I'll be going to again this year, and I went there, and it was really, really hot that day, and so, and it got to the end of sort of late afternoon, and I was roasting, and it was like 32 degrees or something there. It was really, really hot. So I thought, well, I'll go in the marquee, and I'll get a couple of cans of ice cold drink, and I'll sit in the shade in the marquee, for a bit, and just sort of try and cool off and sort of get my breath back, and, you know, sort of just chill out for a minute. So I did that, and this old bloke was behind me in the queue, and he sort of said, like, hot today, innit? And I was like, yeah. I said, it is very hot today. I said, a little bit too hot for me. Oh no, lovely. Anyway, gets my drinks, goes, sits down, don't think no more of it. He gets his drinks, gets his bacon sandwich or whatever it was that he has, comes and sits on my table, talks to me like he's known me for years. Which was really, you know, sort of really nice and really great. But I was like, how do you have the confidence to just go up to strangers and start talking to them? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I get really uptight you know, sort of meeting and talking to new, you know, sort of new people, and I just sort of think, God, if I had your confidence, I could do so much more in this world. But yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one. I'll tell you what, we're getting across this field now. I've done quite a bit. One thing I am going to do, just in case the computer just does decide to throw a wobbly, seeing as we've done that much, I will have a save. Otherwise, next week's live stream is going to be us redoing this. So moving forward with the live streams, from the ground up, I think probably is going to be live streamed from now on, because like literally no one watches those videos. I think the last one I put out has had like was it 10 views, I think. So I am going to live stream that series because I really like that series. I really do like that series. I mean, let me know what your thoughts are about this series. This series. You know, do you want me to live stream it? Is that better for everybody, or would you rather I did episodes? I think moving forward, if I was to be doing episodes, they would be around sort of 15 to 20 minutes long. Like I say, just because, like, obviously YouTube punishes retention and click rate really badly. So from when my computer went to the menders, obviously for nearly a month I didn't put anything up. I wasn't posting shorts, I wasn't, you know, posting anything, and since then, like, I cannot get people to come back to the channel in terms of like my shorts and stuff like that. So, you know, my sort of you know, my videos and episodes and that, I just, you know, at the moment they're just really struggling, which I kind of get, because like I say, I didn't post anything for a month, but YouTube doesn't take into account that people's computers do go wrong. And unfortunately mine has sort of kind of started to do, as I say, what it was doing before. So it's kind of like, well, there may well be in the future, you know, in the not too distant future, a time when you know, I won't be posting anything again for a little while it's being mended again. Do they still play the ads, Ricky, on like my videos? Because I'm obviously not part of the YouTube like partner program, so obviously I can't subscribe to that, and I wouldn't anyway, to be fair, because as I've always said, I don't intend or want to make any money out of YouTube. I do it because I like farming, and you know, and I sort of kind of thought people would like to watch, you know, sort of me play it. So do they still show ads through my videos? Because whenever I've watched them, they don't, but I always watch them through the YouTube Studio. Maybe I should try logging on to my other channel and watching one video through there to see whether I get ads, maybe. I just assumed I didn't because I'm not part of the partner program. See you later, Ploughboy. Thanks ever so much for joining us on the stream this afternoon. Now that's interesting, Ricky. I didn't realise. That's how I assumed that because you know, I wasn't part of the YouTube partner program, that my videos wouldn't get ads. But you know, if they do, then yeah, I can see why some people you know, don't sort of watch the longer form videos. And I guess this is a, although having said that, if I was to if you watched this back, say for example you didn't make it into the stream today, and then later on saw that I'd done it and you watched it, would you get ads in that? I'm assuming probably you would, given what you've already said, but like I say, it'd be kind of interesting to know, because it might explain, you know, sort of why some videos get a lot of views and then others get hardly any. I don't know. I think it's like you said earlier, to be fair, kind of sort of got to do, and I think you've said it before actually to me as well, to be fair, but kind of got to do what I sort of in a way want to do, and then sort of hope that the following comes from that, rather than trying to sort of pander to everyone, or not pander, that's the wrong word, but trying to please everyone. You know, is sort of, this is what I'm doing, hopefully, you know, you'll join in, but if not, you know, that's all well and good. Yeah, it wasn't quite the right word. It's it's, I don't know whether it's used widely out in the community in the rest of the UK, but in our house, that's what we would say. We would say panda to. I don't know why. But yeah, so when I said it, it was kind of like, well, you know, people might not get the reference. Dear. I know what you were trying to do there. You just trying to make me choke again, weren't you? Oop. Oh dear, that was a wobble. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Like I say, Ricky, I you know, never thought about it. I just, I don't know. I just assumed that, like, you know, they didn't show ads on the on my videos, but there we go. I guess they show ads on every video. You know, that's all we get on anything now, really. No, but it was very close too. I don't really know what happened there, to be fair. It's kind of like driving along. I was like looking sort of fairly good, and then all of a sudden, whether my finger, because sometimes my finger sort of, I'll press it, but not realise I haven't released my finger, which is I think may have been what happened. I don't know. So I bought. When did I buy it? Today is Wednesday. So on Monday I bought Farmer's Dynasty, because Farmer's Dynasty 2 is coming out, or Dynasty, depending on how you pronounce it. And I've been playing it I was playing it yesterday, because I wasn't very well yesterday. And I just kind of wanted a veg day, no real thinking, no real nothing. You know what it's like when you have a stomach bug. But so I was sort of playing it yesterday, and I've been playing it a little bit early this morning, because I tend to get up quite early. And it's like the worst game I've ever played, yet I'm quite addicted to it. If that makes sense. It's kind of like I was playing it and I was thinking, James, what are you doing? Like, we've got loads of stuff to do on Farm Sim. Like, loads of stuff. We've got, like, as I say, I've been doing building a new farm for a new series that hopefully is coming. You know, sort of loads of different. And I was like, why are you sitting? I was like, yeah, but you know, it's like a really bad film. I keep thinking it will get good in a minute. Yeah, it's, I mean, like I say, it's not a. I mean, it is a bad game, but it's not a terrible, terrible game in the sense that there is quite a lot of playability to it. And I was sat there this morning. I was thinking I could live stream this. This is like a really good live streaming game, because nothing happens fast. You have to. I mean, the game in the early sort of yesterday all day, the game did nothing but troll me and grind me. Well, that was all the game was doing. I was like, nah, come on, like, you know, geez, you know, you can't have it this bad, surely. But today I have advanced a little bit, and it. I don't know, it got a little bit more kind of interesting. I mean, like, this evening I'll probably put it on again, and excuse me, and sort of persevere with it a little bit more. But I was like, would people be interested in this? And I thought, well, I could actually save it until Farmer's Dynasty 2 comes out, and then that way, you know, at least it will be a new game. And I think, from what I can tell, because I did play so about 2 weeks ago ish, they did where they put it available for everyone to play, and then at the end of the weekend, so it was available from midnight on the Friday till the midnight on the Sunday night. And then they just locked the game again, because I tried loading it but it wouldn't load. It just said you have to wait till the release, which I don't think is that far away, to be fair. But yeah, so I thought, well, I could do that one. And again, that's the other thing that live stream does give me. It does give me so much more opportunity to do so many more things, because you know, I mean, the one sort of comment and sort of, if you like, criticism that I've had about my series is that they do end pretty abruptly. Now that's partly because I was going to say I don't have much of an attention span. I do have an attention span. But again, I've sort of always kind of been a bit worried about like people sort of getting a bit tired of a series because it's getting quite repetitive. And then, as I say, the someone that I've met through YouTube, he was sort of saying it's a farming channel, Jimmy. You know, it is the same like every. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, you've got to get out of your head that, and you need to get into your head that you're just playing the game, and we just watch you play the game. He said, like, and as for me, because when I first started playing it, I was completely clueless. Watching you meant that I picked it up and learnt things very, very quickly. You know, and he said the other thing was that I messaged you a couple of times. You responded like almost instantly. You know, you responded really quick. You was only happy to help. You know, he said like over time that will get noticed, and you know that will sort of stand you in good stead. But yeah, say doing live streams, it means I can do so much more and go so much further in them as well, because you know, hopefully they sort of generate a bit of interest, you know, for people. Again, if Ricky or anyone else has put anything up, my screen hasn't updated. I've tried to force it to update, but it hasn't. So bear with me. If you have sent you know, comments or whatever, I will respond. But as I say, for some reason it's just not updating. Still playing the Mega Drive. See, it's updated now, so I can see it. Still playing the Mega Drive. I don't know as if I've still got my Mega Drive. I don't think I have. I've still got my PlayStation 1 and my PlayStation 2. Because very occasionally I still play LMA Manager on PlayStation 2. Sorry, PlayStation 1. Oh, I play it on PlayStation 2 as well, to be fair. But yeah, and Destruction Derby. Get in there, mate! You got wrecked! Iconic noises from my bedroom in the sort of mid to late 90s. Late 90s probably. Of Destruction Derby. Get in there, mate! Why on earth they gave that guy a Brummie accent, I have no idea, but it was so funny. Your car's wrecked. You'll regret that, mate. It's all coming back to me now. But yeah, so as I say, that was that was the voices of the PlayStation in the as I say, probably more late 90s, because I would have been at work by then, so I'd have been able to afford to buy them. But yeah. Oh dear, I really am not getting on too well on this breed, am I? Should we do that again? I don't know what went wrong there. Well, I do know what went wrong. Oh dear. Someone came into the room, they're like, "Are you finishing?" I was like, "Finishing what?" And they're like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "Why? I've got some jobs that need doing." So, yeah, I'll be done in a little while. And that's what caused the crawler to go into Tokyo Drift mode. I kind of looked back at the screen, it was like, geez, where the hell am I going? Never mind. Never mind. Yeah, that's very true, Ricky. Yeah. That's yeah. Are you done yet? No, go away. Come on, girl. It's not that hard. The hill does, thankfully, slacken off a bit over there. But yeah, we're not doing too bad. Also, I'm surprised the seeder has managed to not run out of seed. Like I said earlier on in the stream, I was kind of hoping that it didn't run out of seed, because it would mean that we'd have to get on the Ford N, take the forklift and the trailer over to the store and bring back, because I used up the last of the seed bags in here, so it was good to get them out. Oh, actually, no, I might have 2 left actually. I've got 2 in the other shed, if they're still there, or either that, or I've used them and don't remember using them. I'm drifting again. I've got no excuses that time. Must be my wonky eye. Afternoon, Nosy Judy. Thanks for joining us in the stream. Yes, we do still play FS22 quite a lot on the chat. I mean, we play FS25 as well, but yeah, we do obviously this series, which is 1950s, and another series that will be coming back to the channel that disappeared when the game stopped working, and that is Sunny Side Up. So I will be returning that as well, because quite a few people actually have asked and said, when's Sunny Side Up coming back? Now that you've got it working. I'm like, okay, if you want to watch it, yeah, we can bring that back. I've still got it, so so yeah, I've got to be honest, FS19 and FS 22 are probably my favourite versions of the game. FS17 was good, but if you had to pin me down to one, I would say FS19 was my most favouriteest farm sim game there's been. I'm so tempted, and I nearly did install it the other day and start playing, because I used to play on FS19. I'm sure it was FS19. I used to play 2 maps. Like the whole of the game, I played 2 maps. I played Gospodo Taimon Kawohu, probably pronouncing that completely wrong, but that's how I pronounce it anyway. So, and I also played Hopfak, and I kind of played them side by side, if you know what I mean. So like I'd have a few days on Gospodo, and then I'd have a few days on Hopfak, and that's kind of what I did, and I absolutely loved it. I mean, obviously I did I cannot remember the name of the map. It will come to me, but I also played that map as well. But I did so 19 was the first time I attempted YouTube. Was the sort of kind of like, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go, see what happens. And started it, got going, and then met someone. And then sort of kind of got so that I was sort of spending most of my time with them, and so kind of stopped it really, because like I say, I was just spending so much time with them. Luckily enough, I mean, we was talking about racing earlier, and I said to her Easter weekend, I said to her, this was in about 21, 22, somewhere around there. I said to her, I said, right, I'm going racing this weekend, so you won't see me Friday, you won't see me Saturday, and you won't see me Sunday. And if I can be bothered to go to Kings Lynn, you won't see me on Monday. And she was like, well, what's this racing that you do then? So I told her, and she was like, well, can I come? I was like, yeah, if you want to. I said, like, you know, but most people that I know are not interested in it, you know. She's like, well, I'd like to see what it's like. So I was like, okay, you can come with me then. So I took her on the Friday night to Skeg, and she absolutely loved it, which was brilliant for me, because it meant I had someone to go with every weekend. And then, like, you know, what happens, you get together and, you know, you start sort of getting a bit more serious, and I suddenly start getting a lot less money. Like, how's this working? And as I say, in the end it didn't work out, but and so I, you know, then sort of could go back to my racing. But yeah, I started YouTube in 2019, and then started doing it properly 2 years ago, January, when I did this series, when I started 1950s. And as I say, this series is still going. It will always still go, because I absolutely adore this series. I really do. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually, to be fair, Ricky. I guess I could do it. I don't know as if it would go on here, though. Does this crawler have a 3? It does have a 3-point linkage. Yeah, I suppose I could do that with the forklift that I have got. But yeah, no, it's a good shout. It would be a lot easier as well, just having it. I mean, I did kind of contemplate this morning when I was setting it up. I thought, if I go to the store now and I just get those bags, and then it was like I sort of managed to convince myself that I'd have enough. And as I say, I've got this far through the field, and I'm quite impressed that we're still going. But I would dare to bet even. Can we open the? Nope. So I've got a mod in that gets rid of all the UI stuff, because I thought it would look a little bit more realistic, which is great because it does. But now I don't know how much is in my seeder. Now I don't know how much, you know, whether it's running out or not. So that mod might have to come out. It's a bit awkward. You're driving up and down thinking, oh, I'm probably getting low on seed and I don't even know it. I think what I'll do as well is, off camera, I might go back and fill some of the bigger patches that I've missed in. I don't mind missing bits and pieces, because like I say, back in the 1950s, seed drills were not, you know, the most accurate of machines. So I don't mind missing patches, because that's, you know, more than sort of what you would see back in the day, you know, so that's fine. But some of the bigger bits we will have to go back and fill in. Yeah, I couldn't open the cover. I just sat pressing, unless it's X, maybe. No, N doesn't do it. Like I say, I've got the mod in, so I can't even put F1 up because it doesn't work. I didn't think that through, did I? I did not think that one through. Never mind. Never mind. I can't think of everything, you know. Yeah, I can't be expected to think of every. Look how badly I've been wobbling off. This is a combination of reading comments, sneezing, choking myself to death. Yeah, I like the little auger wagons as well, actually, Ricky. Yeah, I mean, I've like, because I've started sort of really getting into British maps, and so I've started sort of telehandler, flatbed trailer, the bags on the back, and because that's, well, I mean, at work that's how I did it. You know, that was how it was done. You know, I would take the forklift. So like if I was working out in the marsh and I was drilling out in the marsh, I'd take the forklift up. Boss man would come and fetch me, bring me back, and then on the tractor and the drill, I'd take a bike, take that with me, and then I would get to the, and then like if I ran out of seed that day, because my working day normally start at 7, or that's when I'd get to work at least. It was normally getting on towards 8 before I started, because we'd all have a good gas bag in the canteen before we got going, the boss man and the rest of the lads, while he was telling us where we were going, what we were doing, and like if I was drilling that day, what rates I was to drill at, what, do you know what I mean, like, and I mean, like they were well into their sort of stats and GPSs and stuff like that, so they would then say, I want you to go this way across this field, I want you to go this way in this field, I want you to go diagonally in this field, and you know, whatever. So you'd get all that in the morning, and then as I say, you'd get off, and then if I ran out of seed, I'd have to pedal back, or take the forklift back and the trailer, and then but I always had a bike there, so that then if no one was there to pick me up, what I could do is take the forklift back, obviously with my bike on it, pedal back to my tractor, and then bring both back. So that was how I used to do it, and that's how I've sort of started doing it on FS25, because there's a new mod come out where you can now stand underneath the seed bags and the fertilizer bags, and you can now split the bag. Well, you don't split the bag, but you can press I think it's I, and it opens the chute on the bag, so that it fills the machine more realistically. So like, I really like that. It's really good. But yeah, no, this seeder doesn't have a cover. Look, N and X do nothing. And like I say, if it's under another keybind, then I can't look because I can't get F1 to work. Never mind. It's alright. We'll keep going till it runs out. It'll tell us when it's empty. Yeah, so as I say, we're cracking on, but that was what I used to do at work. So I've, as I say, started doing that now in Farm Sim, and I quite like doing it that way as well. Actually, to be fair, was it? I think Monday was the day that we had the disaster with the potato boxes and the potato planting. To be fair, I did do the rest of that field off camera, or in the evening, and I was actually getting on really, really well with the combination. I've still not figured out the potato boxes. Still not figured that out. So we may or may not be using them because the keybind that it says in the control section, section, the key binding section in the menu, the keys that it says that it is to operate the tip. Doesn't operate the tip, so I'm not sure whether the mod's damaged or like broken or whatever, but I got it off Mod Hub, so it shouldn't be, or whether I really am a little bit dumb and I just not reading it right or not figured it out. Obviously not figured it out because can't do it, but yeah, so it will be interesting to see. But I have to admit, actually, last week watching, I went up to the farm and Kerry was getting the drill ready, and I was sort of chatting to her, and I said to her, I said, I don't half miss it, and she was like, yeah. I said, yeah. I said, it don't bother me in the winter, funnily enough, when it's freezing cold and I'd rather be indoors. I said, it doesn't bother me no more. I said, but I said, today I woke up, it was nice day, looked at the weather, Jesus, it's going to be quite warm for the next, sort of 5-6 days. I said, suddenly I just really wanted to get out, go to work, get on my tractor and go do, the spring drilling and go and sort of get on with different stuff. I said, it's days like today that I sort of really miss it. I said, and seeing you now getting the drill ready and got that spring in your step because you're going to be out in the tractor now. I said away from the farm, because it's never good being the winter time, as we used to call it, the shed jobs. I didn't like the shed jobs or the workshop jobs in the winter. I wasn't a fan, I've got to be honest. We will have another save. Just in case. But yeah, I wasn't really a fan. I used to do quite a lot of the errand runs in the winter. I mean, sometimes I was paid salary. Sometimes, if I'd sort of worked a lot over my contracted hours, I would get probably 4 to 6 weeks off in the winter. So I wouldn't sort of be in anyway, because I obviously with the jobs that I used to do, like ploughing was my main job, and then you know, I'd sort of work long hours at that, trying to keep ahead, mainly trying to keep ahead of our veg planters, because we, you know, used to grow collies and lettuces and, you know, sort of stuff like that. So as one crop was coming out of the ground, it would be ploughed and immediately planted with the next crop. You know, so you could be sort of, as I say, in the, you know, when the season had started and you was sort of up and running, you know, I would start again. You know, I'd get to work for 7, but I would know already what I was going to be doing. So at times like that, I would then get a text message just to say where I'm supposed to be next and what have you, and then you know, I'd just go off and keep cracking on. And then usually I would sort of, if I was getting low on diesel or, you know, whatever, it would be a case of message the workshop, and then they would bring a Bowser out to me. I'd fill up with diesel and just carry on. You know, there'd be sort of long periods of the year where I'd never see the farm, and if I was really lucky, I would then get contracted out to do some ploughing. So I'd never get, you know, sort of, say, I would be out for most of the year. Well, I used to work long days doing that, so I used to work till, you know, anywhere from sort of an early finish would be 11 at night, but most days it had gone sort of 1 in the morning. I'd come back, I wouldn't sleep at home, I'd sleep at work, because they had like bed facilities there, they had shower facilities there, what have you, and then and that's what I used to do, and loved it. You know, I absolutely loved it, and always wanted to go on either the American harvest or the Australian harvest, because obviously their harvest, or the Australian one definitely, is during our sort of downtime, but I never did get to go, unfortunately. The year that I could have gone was the year, so I'd agreed, it was all set up, I'd done all the papers, got my is it a green card or my, you know, my, like my work permit sort of thing to go and work there, and then yeah, my heart that year decided to go wrong, and that was sort of the beginning of the end of my farming life, really. But yeah, the year that it finally came around that I was going to get to go, and as I say, I couldn't do it because you know, my heart condition was, you know, getting worse, and so I didn't make it. But it was really nice because I was with someone. I'd been in, I'd sort of met someone in my early 20s, and I was sort of with her then because I was in my sort of mid 30s then, and I said to, you know, because they sort of said, are you married? And I said, well, I'm with someone. I said, but we're not married. And they just said, oh, okay, fair enough. And then it was a case of a few weeks later, and I'd already said to her, like, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna be here for a few months. I'm gonna be, you know, out in Australia. And she was like, oh, I really wish I could come with you. And I was like, well, I know, but, you know, blah blah blah. And then work had said to me, I went into work one day, and work said, you know, if you want to take your partner, you can do. That's fine. We've arranged, you know, accommodation for the two of you, and not only that as well, but, you know, the boys work better when you've got your partners out there. So it was sort of going to be a nice holiday for us, really. And I did sort of kind of hint and said, well, if we get married, that could be our honeymoon. Yeah, so, but I say it never happened, which was, you know, it was one of those things. I mean, I don't feel too bad about it because it wasn't like I turned it down or I changed my mind or I pulled out, or, you know, I didn't go because of something I couldn't help. So I sort of don't feel too bad about it. I mean, it was unfortunate, you know, that, you know, my heart sort of decided that that was the time that it was going to do it. But there you go, it is what it is. You know, and sort of the other way that I look at it is I could have got out there and then it could have gone wrong and then I wouldn't have had my heart team there. And then I would have been in a lot more trouble. A hell of a lot more trouble. So actually, you know, through good luck, maybe, rather than seeing it as bad luck, the good luck was it happened while I was here. I could get to London very quickly and get my heart team to rescue me very quickly. So, you know, it depends on which way you want to see it. And I'd sort of, to deal with it and sort of cope with it, I tend to look at it as it was good luck, not bad luck. You know, yes, I would have loved to have gone and I would have done it, and you know, it would have been memories for a lifetime. I know me and my ex are no longer together, but it would have been, you know, magical at the time. It would have been brilliant. But there we go. You know, that's just the way it is, really. So yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Ricky. As you know, as I say, you know, a bit like your points, right? I mean, yeah, I could sit here and sort of like feel really hard done by, and you know, oh poor me and all. But you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. And as I say, I'd sort of chosen to look at it as well. Actually, it happened while you know we were here, and not only that as well, but I've forgotten what I was going to say. It came in and then disappeared. I think we all do, mate, to be fair. Oh, yeah. Yeah, like I say, you know, that's just the way it is. But I would have loved to have done it, you know, out on... Because in the summer months, we used to have... so the farm where I was going, I can't remember the company name now, it's so long ago, but, you know, it's like 10, 15 years ago. But the place where we used to go, they would send a few of their workers to us each year in the summer. So we used to have Mark and I can't remember the other guy's name, Michael. We used to have Mark and Michael down. The only reason why I remembered Mark is because that's the name of my younger brother. So, but yeah, we used to have Mark and Michael come down, and they were two good lads. They were hard workers as well. Because sometimes we would have other lads that would come from like New Zealand or wherever to help us in the harvest, and some of them were so lazy you could not believe. It was like, Jesus, you know, are we in any danger of you doing anything today? Because there's a lot of work here and you're not really doing any of it. You know, care to get on and help? But Mark and Michael, they were two really good lads. They were proper what I call old-fashioned guys. You know, they really got on with it, and they were really nice to boot as well. yeah, that is. I've got a feeling my microphone keeps cutting in and out because so I've got on one screen I've obviously got the game, and then on the other screen divided I've got the comments coming in, and I've also got like the mic audio bars. Sometimes they go really flat and they don't move for a little bit. Now I'm not sure whether that's OBS or whether my mic sort of is cutting in and out. So hopefully you're hearing everything that I say and it's not breaking up or crackly or anything like that, because that would be quite annoying, especially this far in. Oh really? That's quite weird, Ricky, that's doing. As I say, I know just a few seconds ago I noticed it shut down for a few seconds, and I thought, But if has that been doing that the whole stream? Yeah, so obviously I do have that. Like I say, to if I want to cough, or if someone comes in, or whatever. But I didn't realise that shouldn't be happening all the time. I might have to look into that. Although having said that, I'm not that brilliant technically, so whether I'd be able to solve it or not, I don't know. But so the microphone that I've got has got a audio thing on it, and that's been going the whole time. And I have it on OBS, obviously, to make sure that OBS is picking up what my microphone is saying, or what I'm saying into the microphone. The microphone doesn't talk on my behalf, which is what that sounded like. So I kind of thought everything was okay, just because the microphone's audio thing was was working as it should, and I just assumed that OBS was, because OBS is really good, but it does have its issues. That is for sure. See, that was an instance where I had to press the mute button. But yeah, so as I say, the amount of times I sit pressing F, wondering why on earth my tractor does not stop or slow down so that I can turn it, and then you're kind of like, why are you pressing F? I know, it's S. Ah. I'm pleased you pointed that out. No problem. I mean, it's been S ever since like 2009 when you started playing the game, but I just thought I'd remind you. Yeah, that's really helpful. Cheers. And that's just some of the conversations that goes in my head every day. Yeah, like I say, I'll have to. Excuse me. I'll have to look into that as to why that might be happening. I did just very briefly then quit to my that might be when I quit to my desktop. That's what might be doing it. So while I've been, because my screens are not updating, I've been quitting to my desktop to press the refresh button to get my screen to update so that I can actually see the comments, and I bet that's when it goes moot. Yeah, I got a feeling that might be what is doing it. It's and that's why then, because OBS runs, there's quite a delay between me saying what I'm saying now and like you guys in the stream hearing it. And so there is quite a delay. I think it's something like about a 20-second delay. And so I think it's when I think it's when I quit to my desktop to refresh the screen that's when it happens, I think. So I'll have to not quit to my desktop to refresh the screen. So again, because of that, it might be a little bit longer before I get to sort of reply to comments or comment on anything that's been said or asked. I tell you what, Ricky, that is just about sums me up to a T as well, that does. Just about sums me up to a T as well. Although I did now then. I did wander onto Facebook the other day. So, with me liking the racing, I was talking to my brother, who's also very much into his racing, or into the racing, I should say. And he was saying, "Oh, there's a guy on," because he's on Facebook and Twitter and all the other Instagrams and all of them, and I'm not. Like I said, YouTube is me being modern as well. He said, like, there's a guy on Facebook that builds replicas of the stock cars. So he's like, he goes, you should go and have a look. So I went and had a look, and ended up buying one. Which I knew it was a bad idea, me going to have a look. I was like, I'll probably end up buying. And my brother was like, they're quite expensive, and I said, like, yeah. I said, yeah, I'll probably still end up buying one. He's like, not the price they are. Anyway, I went on there and had a look at all the pictures that the guy had put up. And then he's got like a sort of shop ordering page type thing. So I went on there and saw how much it was, and I thought, well, it's handmade. I thought that's not too bad for a handmade car. I thought, that's a replica model. I thought that's not too bad. So I ended up buying one. So I've been on Facebook, I think the sum total of about 3 times, because he obviously has then messaged and you know, for posting details and stuff like that. I have now got it, my model, and it is absolutely bloody awesome. Absolutely awesome. Love it, like really good. Yeah, so but that will probably be the last venture into into Facebook. Yeah, I don't envisage me going on there. I was like, I mean, obviously while I was there, like I did what I needed to do. Then I had a little scroll, through. It was like, what do people get up to on it? Because my mum loves it, and I was like, well, what goes on here? And so I was sort of looking, and because I mentioned to my brother, I said, oh, you know, I'm on Facebook to get a thing. Oh, you didn't send a friend request. I don't want to be your friend. And he's looked at me and went, that's charming. I said, I'm your brother. I can talk to you whenever I want. I said, why would I friend request you? And he was like, well, we can chat on Facebook. I said, we're chatting now. And I didn't need a computer. I said, like, you know, I said, why on earth would I, you know, and it's like, my mum was like, oh, you didn't send me a message. Yeah, in the next room. It's like, I mean, I'll tell you how much I find modern life absolutely nuts, right? And this is a true story, right? And you've probably heard it 1,000 times from other people, but this, whether they're making it up or whether it's true for them, I don't know, but it's true for me, right? We went to a restaurant, right, when I was with the woman a couple of years ago, right? We went to a restaurant, right? And we was in the restaurant. It was Christmas time, and we were there for Christmas dinner, right? And there was sort of 4 or 5 of us, all her friends, but you know, that's fine because I don't really have any, so to speak, that I could just sort of ring up and say, oh, do you fancy going out for a drink? You know, I sort of don't have friends like that. And so it's all her friends, which was fine because I, you know, got on with most of them, and most of them were right. 1 or 2 were a bit tricky, but you know, just sort of smiled politely at them. But anyway, we was in this restaurant, right, and her daughter was with us, obviously, and we were sat at the restaurant. So there was me, a daughter, then someone else, then her mum, and then another couple of people. So we're sitting there. So I says to her, I says to the daughter, I says, you alright? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. I said, good. I said, do you need anything? She's like, no, I'm good. Anyway, eating my meal, she gets her phone out. So I said to her, I said, no, I said, we're eating dinner. I said, it's Christmas dinner. I said, like, you know, we're all out together. We're not on phones. I said, we can be on phones when we're at home. And she was like, do you mind? I'm texting Mum to see if she'll pass me the sauce. It's like, I said, your mum is sat one person across. She goes, yeah. She goes, well, I don't want to say, do I? She goes, like, I could just text her. And I was like, I went, oh my God. And I was just, well, I honestly, like, I was stunned. I was just like, what? That sounds pretty cool. To be fair to you, Ricky, sorry, again, it just refreshed and that just came up, so I don't know how long you'd sent that message, so I do apologise. Yeah, like I say, mate, I just, well, I'm speechless now, and that was like, what, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that. I just, it blew my mind. Like I say, there was one person between her and her mum. Not one person. And she was like, oh, I'm just texting Mum to see if she'll pass me the sauce. It's like, Jesus. Oh, well, never mind. Anyway, that's got this done. I can't believe we've done it on 1 tank of seed. Which is pretty impressive, I've got to say. in all fairness, guys, I am going to have to end the stream here as well. I've just had another visit, and you kind of get you get your mum come in. She goes, "Tea time! It's tea time! Tea! Your tea's ready." Well, okay, fair enough. Never mind. But so yeah, hopefully everyone's enjoyed it today. As I say, we'll drive back to the farm, and then and then we will end it there. What I'll do is I'll go across the road and then down by the grass, because we can't really drive steel tracks on the field, because on the road rather, because we'll dig the roads up. But oh dear, I'm sorry, I'm still chuckling away at the tea time, it's tea, and she's like banging her wrist. So funny. But yeah, I'd say we'll get back to the farm, and then I'd say we will for today call an end to the stream. So hopefully everyone's enjoyed it and had a good laugh, and hopefully since I've stopped going to the desktop, it stopped cutting out. Hopefully that was what it was. I have to admit that since I haven't clicked on the desktop since we said, all my bars have been working, so I think it's the delay and why the bars then sort of drop off. So I think that was the cause. Today is the first time in the stream that I've actually been going to and from my desktop while streaming to try and get the screens to refresh, so that might well be it. So I'll stop doing that. You're welcome, Nosy Judy. Thanks for joining us. Always good to have new people in the stream, and you know, sort of commenting and joining in. You know, really appreciate it, and I'm sure everyone else that's in the stream really appreciates it too. But anyway, as I say, we're back home now, so I am going to end the stream here. Hopefully the next stream will be Friday. I don't know what game yet, but hopefully the next stream will be Friday. It could even be 1950s again, because like I said, we've got these silos to empty, so we need to get our crops out of the silo. That one's empty, that one's empty. Oh no, I won't see it, will I, because I've got a mod that's cancelled the UI. But as far as I know, there is stuff in the silos and we need to empty them. But anyway, thanks ever so much, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.